Welcome to On the Brink, a fresh lens to take you and your business to new heights. I'm Andi Simon, and as you know, I'm your host and your guide. And my job is to help you get off the brink, to understand things and see them through a fresh lens. I'm a corporate anthropologist, and I love to share with you information from different cultures and times that will help you put into perspective your own situation today and how to make sense out of it and understand it better. So I'm really honored today to have with me Mr. Panos Manias. And Mr. Panos is in Greece. He's in Athens. He was introduced to me by a wonderful woman here in New York who wanted me to share his story. Now, Panos' story is set back into the period when the Germans came into Thessalonica and really took over the city. And so I'd like him to begin to understand how to share that with you so that it is held in posterity, so we don't lose the story, and that the wonderful actions that he and his family took then are preserved. So let me tell you about Panos. Panos Manias was born in 1934. He was one of 5 children. He's married now and has 2 wonderful children and 4 grandchildren. He holds a bachelor's degree in business economics and international commerce from the Athens University of Economics and Business. He's a self-made entrepreneur who started his own industrial company in aluminum packaging material, Alumin, in 1965. It's now managed by his 2 children. Panos, in his professional career, has spanned more than a half a century, and he's proved to be an inspirational and visionary entrepreneur. His personal and business integrity, together with his determination on focusing on personal relationships, has been passed to the next generation of Alumin and continue to be the key drivers of the company's success. Now, Panos is an amazing man, and I know he wants to tell you about the situations when the Germans came into Thessalonica. But what I'd like him to do is begin with his own journey. Tell us about yourself. How did you develop as an entrepreneur? Panos, give us some context to understand your own personal journey here. Can you do that, sir, please?
Sure. Well, after finishing the Athens College, which is an American school in one of the best in the country, in Greece, in Athens, I started working for a big company specializing in aluminium, and slowly, they appreciated the job I was doing, and they offered me to go into a joint venture with this big company, whom I will never forget because they really gave me a very good chance in my life. Is the Stasinopoulos family, which is one of the biggest entrepreneurs in Greece, maybe in Europe. So I started working for them, and they appreciated what I was doing, and they offered me to go into a joint venture in the aluminum products. And slowly but surely, it was expanding and expanding and expanding. And to make a long story short, after so many years, we are proud to say that we are a company which is 100% export-oriented. We export everything all over the world. And thanks God, both of my children, when they finished their studies in Greece and the United States, they were both Brown University alumni. When they came back, I told them very openly and very sincerely, now you are here. What do you want to do? It's up to you. You decide, and I will respect your decision. So they both said they want to continue working for me. I mean, for the company. And I said something which I will never forget. Listen, it's your decision. You're never going to tell me you are not happy. If you're not happy, tell me now. They both agreed. They followed my steps. And I must say that they did much, much better than I did. And I'm very proud of it. So when we were,
Go ahead. Please continue.
The story we're talking about starts in Kypseli, where we were living before the World War. We had a big 3 stories building on our own, and we were living there. And the time was when the German occupation, it was very difficult. Life was very, very difficult because people were asking questions and this and that. And my uncle, who was living in Thessaloniki, they were partners with my father, who was in Athens. They had both a joint venture in the food industry. So one day he calls my father, and he says that in Thessaloniki there is this. He was a very good friend with a family, a Jewish family called Karaso. They were both living next to each other in a street in Thessaloniki, and were excellent friends together. They were not friends, they were brothers. Although one was Jewish, the other was Christian, every day they were going to be together to discuss their problems, this and that. Before the war, everything was okay. And then when the German occupation started, everybody froze because they didn't know what would happen. And unluckily, the Germans were trying to find out how they are living people in every neighborhood. So one day they go to my uncle's house, and they say that they would like to take it, not rent it. They wanted to have an officer living there, a German officer.
Mm-hmm.
They were frozen. So they said, okay, and they didn't know what to do. So they decided to take the Jewish family in their own home, hide them in an attic where nobody would see them in the morning. And they said, okay, you can have now the home, the home which they knew it was Jewish, but they left. They're not here. I don't know where they are because they disappeared. And the Germans were living next to them. And it was a very difficult thing to do. And my uncle wanted to take them out of Thessaloniki because in Thessaloniki, it was terrible. The Germans were killing Jews by the thousands. It was a genocide. It was incredible. So, and I have to say something. My uncle and my father, they were very good businessmen, but they were not as today the people are, they're educated and they know tricks and things like that. But they had a good, straight mind. So he calls my father from Thessaloniki, and he said to him, listen, there is a family here that we are brothers with them, father and mother, and 4 siblings, 5. So they said they made the plan. First of all, my uncle he had very good connections with the guerrillas who were fighting against the Germans, and they issued for them fraud identity cards with the name Angelidis. Forget Karaso, everything. Angelidis. That was the name. And then he said he discussed it with the father Karaso, and the family of Karaso, they left and they went to a fishing village very close to Thessaloniki to hide themselves, waiting for a boat to take them to Athens. The boat was not arriving, and the mayor of this small fishing started to asking questions. Who are they? What are they doing? Why they are here? And somebody told them that he was going to call the Germans, that there is a Jewish family living in this island.
Mhm.
They were frozen to death. And then they left because the Germans said, if you don't give them up to us, we're going to burn the whole island. They were doing it, burn the whole island.
Village. Yeah.
Eh?
Then island, village.
Sorry, village. So the mayor told them, listen, the whole village is in your hands. So the father, they said, no, forget it. We are leaving right away. And they left and went back to Thessaloniki. And they decided to return to Athens for sure.
Now
My,
please.
then, at that time, there were no trains or this. There were big old buses that were going from Thessaloniki to Athens, which would take 10 hours. And he decided, after having the fake identity cards, to put them in a bus and take them to Athens, where my father was living, my family, so that they would hide in Athens and nobody would know anything about it. Yes. My uncle insisted that they go all together. Listen, he said, in Thessaloniki is a massacre. They killed Jews by the thousands. You must all go together. No, Mr. Carasso said no. Mr. Manias, no. I'm going to stay here with my wife and two children,
Right.
and I'll send the other two with the bus. He didn't take a no for a reply. So my uncle said, okay, you want to do that? Do that. So with the fake IDs, they went into the bus station. They stayed in the third row and the fifth row, but far apart from each other, so that they wouldn't know that they're brother and sister. And they were going in Larissa, which is on the halfway from Athens to Thessaloniki. The bus stopped for the rest, and the driver, who was not a good man, understood that something was wrong with these children. I don't know how. And he went and looked at them and said nothing. And he was going down to report it to the Germans. All of a sudden, and this is something which is unbelievable, one sturdy man, very, very big, with not a knife, with a stick, stood up and went to the driver and told him something on the ear. And the driver froze to death. And he didn't report to the Germans.
Mm.
He was going to tell the Germans they were Jewish and he would get money for it. So this was the big obstacle.
Yes.
Thanks God they continued to Athens, where my family was living, and they were accepted by my family, and they stayed in our house in Kypseli. But people there started talking, who are they? What are they doing here and all that? And my father thought of something I think it was very smart, in order to have them do something and not appear like he said, listen, I will give you money. You will buy olive oil, which was during the German occupation, it was more than gold. I will give you bottles of oil. You will stay in Omonia, and you will sell them for peanuts and get some money. Not only this, they will say, he's a Greek doing some business to make some pocket money. And every day there was a Greek officer of the police passing by, and the guy, the Carasso gave him one bottle of oil free every day, every day, every day, every day. After maybe 1 month, the other policemen got a little bit suspicious. And, what is this? So they go and ask him, who are you? What's your name? His name was Angelidis. They didn't believe him. Where are you coming from? Listen, sir, I'll take you to the Gestapo and you take care of they will take care of you. He took the boy and he was going to the Gestapo. And he asked a policeman to take them to the Gestapo. And I don't know how this happened. The policeman was the same who was getting the oil for free.
So he
So
gave
he
back. Yes.
he
Go ahead.
takes the little boy and he let him free. And the boy asked him, what are you going to say? I said, I slipped and you ran away. So he was saved, and he went back to our house in Kypseli where they were living. And after that, I guess, after that, they were started discussing in Kypseli who are this, who are that. And my father went a neighborhood a little bit far away and not very crowded in Sepolia, and rented a small apartment for them, and they were safe there because nobody knew them. And they gave them the food and clothes and everything. And then the lady who owned the apartment started getting a little bit curious. Who are they and who are they? So they got afraid also from that. And πώς θα πήραν σπίτι.
Όχι. Μετά από τέλειωσε η κατοχή.
Yes. By that time, the German occupation was finished. The Germans left the country, and they were free. They came back home, and they said, we want to go now to Thessaloniki to find our parents, because the parents were there. So they went to Thessaloniki, and my uncle told them, they had to tell them that their parents were
Μαζί με τα άλλα 3 παιδιά.
the parents with 3 other children were caught by the Germans, and they were put on the last train from Thessaloniki to Auschwitz.
Yes.
And you know, some years ago, we had a wonderful, very emotional meeting in the descendants of the Carasso family in their house. That was maybe 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago. And they invited the whole Carasso family and the whole Manias family for a dinner at their home. And we were about 35, 40 people. And I will never forget something that the old lady said. She said, of course, she raised her glass to say hello, health to everybody, and said, listen, everybody listen. If there were not the Manias family, nobody would be here.
No.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Both the Manias and the Carasso, they
Yep.
will all be dead. This I will never forget.
Yes.
So, you know, we tell you all that because I think I have a moral obligation, I think, because I'm an old man now. I'm 90 years old. And I think I have an obligation to the coming generations to hear this story, to have the same feelings no matter if he's Jewish or Armenian or Hebrew, I don't care. Human beings must behave like human beings. And I hope this is going to be a good uh, heritage to the coming generations. That's why we tell you this story.
The reason this is so beautiful is because at times you worry that the humans have forgotten how to be human. And the Manias and Carrasso families are a tribute to what the good in us can do, isn't it? We can be kind, we can care, we can love each other, and we can help each other thrive. And it's a beautiful story. And Panos, your tribute to your family and to theirs and to everyone is absolutely exquisite. It's beautiful. Your English is very good too, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Would you like to send anything at the end here to your sons and their grandchildren, and anything special you would like to end with? Because you've told a beautiful story, but I have hunch in your heart you just want to hug everybody.
You mean to say something too?
Did you want to say something in ending to your family?
Yes. I just want to repeat that as human beings, we have the moral obligation to behave like human beings.
Yes.
And look the people who are around us, not according to their religion or their ethnicity. I don't care what they are. They are human beings, and we must behave like human beings. We must have the morale that God, Almighty God, whether it's God or I don't know what's the name, Almighty, gave to us, and we have to respect what we get. And I believe very strongly that really in life, you get what you give.
Yes.
You give love, you get love. You give hate, you get hate. So simple.
It is.
And it's very simple. But simple things are difficult to understand sometimes.
Yes.
So I'm very proud that I leave this heritage to my family, and I hope they will have the same mentality to behave like human beings.
Yes. This is a beautiful story. I'm honored that you gave us the opportunity to share it. And while, long ago, I've been to Greece several times, and I did my research in Greece, and I was in love with Greek people because they embraced the work I was doing to better understand how people embrace change. And this is just a wonderful compliment. So I'm going to pause for a moment and say goodbye to my audience. And then I will come off the tape and we can talk for a moment further. So bear with me for a second, because I want to thank everyone who listened today or watched. And I know Panos is going to be sharing this. So for those of you who are not familiar with our podcast, what we try to do is help you see things through a fresh lens. I will tell you that we live the story that's in our mind. So think about Panos's story and his desire to tell it. It's one thing to have it. It's another thing to want to share it. And by sharing it, hoping to spread his own big heart with others. You're smiling at me, Panos, because this is a gift that you're giving to others. And there's nothing better for their well-being and your own than to share this gift. So I want to thank you all for coming today, if you're watching or listening. And remember that our job is to help you get off the brink and soar. So thank you again, and thank you, Panos and your family, for joining us. And
Do me a last favor.
Yes.
When you come to Athens, you are
Yes.
going to visit us.
Oh, absolutely. Let's do it
Okay.
quickly. Is it sunny there? Because I need some sun.
Oh, it's beautiful today.
I know. Hold on while I say goodbye to everybody.